Today we will see how to apply OCI from Canada to India. So I recently went through this process and I just thought of sharing this knowledge with you so it will be helpful for you guys. So the process is very straightforward. Usually go to this BLS website. Like if you are in Canada, I think it's blsindia/canada.com. If you go to this website, they have a clear instructions what needs to be done. So for OCA services, you can just click on general information, and you will know what is the different like benefits of having OCI, right? So there are two ways you can apply for this OCI. One, you can go and apply in person in the BLS International or BLS center that you have in your province, or you can go for a postal application. In my case, first time I went with an postal application, I made some mistake, so it got returned back. Then I booked an appointment and went to the BLS center itself and did an application. If you have time and if you have a patience, as always, go to in person in BLS center with an appointment where they will guide you with the proper information, and you can follow those informations if in case you have any mistakes. Right, instead of spending some money in postal orders and getting returned back, it's a basically waste of money. So first, let's start with an booking an appointment. If you go to the BLS website and say click book an appointment, you will see what center that you are coming from and type of service that you need is whether it's passport, visa, or OCI, and you pick a date of appointment. Usually, I see like they have only 15 days of window. Say if say you are in September 15th, okay, and usually they have the slots open till only September 30th, right? Only for 15 days window. If you have to book an appointment for an maybe for an October, you have to come and check the end of the September to see whether you have any slots or not. Right, and you have to give your name, mobile number, passport number, applicant email, and submit, and you'll get a confirmation email stating that this is the appointment date. And it's better to take that printout because usually the security guard in the BLS checks that printout to make sure that you have an appointment or not. So once the appointment is done, I would say just go to the like you have to before that you have to do all the documentation. So for OCI, if you go to the BLS website, all the informations are very clear on this. You can just click on this. So the BLS is basically a third party who works with Indian Embassy to process these applications, right? For OCI, the government has created the portal, which you have to update the all the informations in the portal and take a printout of the informations that you've given in the portal and bring it to BLS. BLS will verify that information in the paper and all the supporting documents that you're bringing in, and they will send it to the in a post to the embassy where they'll print the OCA and return back. The OCA cards are usually printed in New Delhi, so they send the OCAs as the applications in bulk, where they process in New Delhi and they again come back to BLS for the distribution. So the check the like you have to go to this OCA website. So this is the website that they have. So here, if you see the link, it's called OCA registration, where you can give all the information that is needed. So look at this menu here. It will be very useful for you. I'll come to this later in the in this video. So here itself also they given all the prerequisite what you need, right? So the one tricky part on the prerequisite side is the photograph. So Indian Embassy will take photo that is 2" by 2". So if you are in Canada, the passport standard is very different here from the Indian standard that you have. So you have to take a picture that is 2" by 2". You don't need to get like usually for Canadian passport, you will have to get it signed from the from the photographer, right? But for this you don't need anything. It's a normal picture as we take in India, like just take a picture which is 2 into 2 inch size, 2 inch into 2 inch size. Make sure it is in white or white background. That is what they're asking for. And the face is very clear, and you can also should be able to see the shoulders in the picture. So considering that I have the picture, that is one of the prerequisites that we have. And also the other prerequisite that you should have is you have to sign in a paper and take a picture of it, because you have to upload your signature. The signature has to be in a 4:3 ratio. Like you have to keep cropping use your mobile phone to get that particular ratio of the signature. Like if you're not techie, maybe I'll ask you to take some help from the person who can take a picture, know how to crop, and upload it here. So I'm creating like kind of a new application here. There is a captcha here which we have to enter. So there are two options here. Either you can fill a new application, or uh, start continuing the partially filled application. So once you start filling the application, you will have the temporary number. You can temporarily save it and come back and fill this, you can come back and refill this application, right? So basically, once you started a new application, you will be given the temporary number, which you can use it for refilling this. If you don't have any information, you have to go and get that information. Maybe you can just note down the temporary number and you can start filling it. So the application is very straightforward. So select the country from where you submitting it from. Give the given name, surname, sex, date of birth, country of birth, place of birth, current nationality. So if you are a Canadian, choose current nationality as Canada. And national identification number, which some people may have the Aadhaar number, some people may not have. Visible marks, try to find the visible marks that usually you give for identification. So this passport number here, it's not your Indian passport number. This passport number is basically your Canadian passport number. Date of issue is basically when the passport is issued. Date of expiry, place of issue is maybe is a Toronto, Mississauga, whichever it is. And the previous passport number is basically if you have an older passport, that you have to mention here, you can mention it, but it's not a mandatory field, so I left it. So father's name is basically your father's name, father's nationality, father's profession, like it can be a doctor, government service, or private, anything. Mother's name, mother's nationality, and like mother's profession and relationship with the Indian roots. So the OCI can be applied based on these categories. Either your father is Indian, your mother is Indian, or your grandfather is Indian, or great grandfather is Indian. Based on these criteria, you can apply for OCI. So if you are getting a citizenship and applying it for an OCI, maybe it is because you may have your Indian passport, because you yourself an Indian, then you got Canadian citizenship. So you have to choose self in that case. So once you complete this form and click on save and continue, you will go to the part B of this application, right? I don't want to give an junk data here and in this form, so I'm just explaining you. So once you save and continue, you should have your photo soft copy ready, which is by 2-inch by 2-inch photocopy, and your signatures that is taken in the 4:3 ratio. You should be able to upload. You should upload those images and the signature in order to proceed with the part B of the application. So this is the primary. This is a part A, which is primarily you have to give all this information. Then you have to upload your picture and the signature to get into the part B of the application. So in the part B, once you upload the application photo and the picture, I cannot go without. I don't want to give a junk data here. So what I'm doing is I'm just showing you the application that already I had, the printout that I had. So you will know what information that needs to be given in the part B side, right? So in the part B, there is one question that you may have to fill. Have you any member of your family applied for overseas citizens of India registration? Yes, earlier, right? So in this case, I'll tell you scenarios, right? So if you are an adult and you're applying for an OCI for you, then you may not have any family member that have already applied for OCI, right? But if you're applying it for your kids, right, you are already became a citizen and you're applying it for your kids, then you may have to give yes here and give the name and relation. Basically, it's your name and relationship as a father, and give your reference number. So reference number, you can find it in your OCA card where they give this reference number and date when you applied and where you applied, and the status of the OCI, that is like it's granted or it is ignored, something like that. So there are some other questions that you have to answer based on your specific information. Another important point that I made a mistake is this one. It's the date and method of accusation of present nationality. All right. So there are two ways you can I think there are multiple ways which you can get a nationality here, but uh, the most of the people will have that only two ways of doing it, right? Most, like, one is by birth. If you're up if your kid is born here and you're applying in OCA for him, it's basically he acquired Canadian nationality by birth. So you have to put the information as by birth here. But if you are getting the like if your kids are born in India or you born in India and you applied for the citizenship after a PR and you getting a citizenship, then it has to be chosen as naturalization, and you have to mention a date. That's basically when the date that you got your citizenship. So there's two things. If it is the kid is born in Canada, there's the drop down has to be by birth, and if you are getting a citizenship and from a PR, it has to be chosen as naturalization. The other informations that you may have to give is the details of the family members or relatives that they are in India, their name, their present address, and what relationship that you have with them, right? And you have to mention their age as well. So other than that, it's normal questions, whether do you have any criminal proceedings against you, and all those information. If you have to give it. And the declaration is basically in the two parts. If it is for minor child, you have to sign. You have to sign on behalf of a minor child. If you're adult, you can sign for yourself. So if you are applying it for a minor child, there is a separate form that you have to give. You can search it in the BLS site itself. That form is that, it's basically both the parent that has to sign that. Stating that, is NOC form that the parent A, but the father doesn't have any issues, that a mom is applying for OCI for a kid. So both the parents has to sign the NOC form stating that this they have a consent for this OCI application from the both the parents side. So once this is done, you will also have an option to upload the required documents in the website, right? I'll show you where it is. So this is what I'm talking about. You will have the you can upload re-upload all the informations, the documents that is required to prove the fact, right? So the document checklist is also available in the BLS website. All right. So this online application form is nothing but once you complete all this information in this portal, you will print out that. Once that is the online application form. So you have to upload the copy of your Indian passport, right? You have to upload the copy of your Canadian citizenship certificate if you have got citizenship based on your PR. Canadian passport, you have to scan it and upload it, and you have to upload the proof of your address. The proof of address can be your driving license or any ID card that is issued by the Ontario or any other province, or any utility bills like your gas bill or your hydro bill, anything. You have to upload. You already uploaded your photo card already, and you some documents that you may also need to upload is your marriage certificate, right? If you're applying it for your kid, you have to upload your marriage certificate, and you have to upload the Indian passport of parents, and their OCI card and their surrender certificate, right? So it is better to have all those things, because if you're applying it for your kid, they have to basically prove that the parents are from India, right? So the relationship with the kid to the parent is basically from your parent's nationality. You're trying to get OCA for your kid, so you have to prove that your parents are from India. For that, you may have to upload the cancelled Indian passport, a surrender certificate, and your marriage certificate, right? The another important point that I missed to say is, like, if you are applying the OCI, uh, like based on your citizen, so you are based on your naturalization. When I say naturalization, that you got a PR, then you got into a citizenship, right? So in that case, you have to update, and you have to first surrender your Indian passport. So before you getting an OCI, the first step that you have to do is surrender Indian passport, get your surrender certificate and your passport punched. So then only you can apply for the OCI. So that has to be uploaded as well. Then you also need to upload the COPR. The COPR is a very important document that many people misses to bring in the BLS appointments. That you should have the copy of COPR and the original copy with you. You also need to upload that in this website, right? And other than that, the documents are straightforward. You can just go over this checklist. BLS frequently updates this checklist, and they also given this photograph specifications and all those stuff. So it is always better to go over this checklist prior you're visiting the BLS center, right? And another thing that I wanted to say is uh, the photocopy. You also need to take a hard copy of the picture. You should upload the picture and also take a couple of copies of the photo that you have to take it. And the another important document I said is like the NOC from both the parents. That is also important. So once this is you have all the documents ready, is then you have to go and check for the like the fees structure. So check the check the fees um, like before you take this bank draft, right? So the any fees that is mentioned for the Consulate General of India, Toronto, that has to be in DD, right? So anything that is for the BLS can be paid via card or the debit card. Basically, they take only debit cards, no credit cards. So in this case, if you see, the 345 is the is the fees for the OCI, right? This will be, you have to take in favor of Consul General of India, High Commission of India, Ottawa or something. See, they mentioned it. Uh, Consulate General of India, Toronto. You have to take that bank draft in favor of this name, and that's the amount they mentioned. Any fees that is 345 plus they charge something like some money for the BLS service charge that can be paid via your debit card, right? So once this is done, you can, once you have all this information ready, you can take it to the BLS and they will verify it. Take all the originals with you, don't miss any documents, otherwise you have to go back again. uh, like uh, Take all the documents originals with you and copies, multiple copies of the documents with you. And you also need to upload all these documents in the portal as well, right? So in this portal, I have to say something. So if you can take it to the BLS, and in the BLS they also say that some documents is mixed. You can come back to this portal and re-upload the required documents also. So there are some restrictions in uploading the document in this portal. I think you can upload a maximum of 3 times in each category, and you can view the document only for 5 times or something. So like uh, there are different categories that you can upload the documents here, but it really doesn't matter which category you upload which document. Make sure that all the documents that I told you, right, the your Canadian passport, your Canadian citizen certificate, if the parent, if you're applying for a kid, parents marriage certificate, parents Indian passport, surrender certificate, parents OCI, parents Canadian passport, then your marriage certificate, your proof of address, everything that needs to be uploaded here. So there will be different categories. The categories may be a little irrelevant, but make sure that all the documents are somehow in these categories, right? So once this is done, you can go to the BLS, submit this all the document. They will verify, and they will give a tracking number. The typical timelines that the BLS says is like it is up to 2 months to get an OCI. So the another important point is they also take like the originals. So when I say originals, if you are if you're applying it for a kid who's born in Canada, and you have to give the original birth certificate to them. So in Canada, if you remember, right, so there are 3 types of birth certificates you can get in Canada, right? So one is the birth certificate without a parent's name in it. One is the birth certificate with parent's name in it, and another birth certificate is the the legal version of the birth certificate, which they will say talk about the weight, the weight of the kids that is born, the hospital which is born, who's the doctor that attended the kid. All this legal information will be there. So if you're applying for an OCI for a kid, you have to take that legal document, not that the shiny paper that you have with the birth certificate with not that, but you have to take the legal copy of it, which you can get it from the Service Canada website, that will have the entire information of the with the doctor's name, the weight of the baby, and everything. They'll accept only that legal copy, the legal version of the birth certificate, not the normal birth certificate that you get, right? So that is very important. So for if you're applying for a kid that is born in Canada, they will take the original copy with them, and once after you submitting this application, you will get the original copy back in 10 to 15 days, right? And your the OCA processing time is up to 2 months, but usually you get in 5 to 6 weeks. So if you are a person who born in India and got into a citizen, like you got a citizenship by using a PR and everything, then that you have to give your cancelled passport with them, right? And again, that passport will be given back to you via courier in like 10 to 15 days, and again it will take like up to 2 months for the OCA processing, right? This is basically the experience that I had for OCI application, and I think this is basically it's from my personal experience. I don't have any authority to guide or instruct people on how to create OCI, but it's basically I wanted to share this information so it'll be helpful for you guys. So that is the whole intention here. I hope this information will be useful for you, and if you have any questions, please leave in your comment. I try to answer like if I know this information and based on my time and availability. Hope you enjoy this channel, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more of Canadian content. See you next video. Bye.